The right answer is never obvious. Would you rather be impulsive or right?
I don't know. I love being impulsive, but I want to be right.
Great. Now let's try with verbal.
There are fake answers in verbal, too.
What's wrong?
Analogies. The ones that make where I don't know half the words. You want to crawl into bed, quit school, quit everything.
I can get you through it. Walk is to perambulate as a pedestrian is to stroll.
Yeah. They both have to do with walking and looks right.
That's why it's wrong.
No.
Look, walk is the same thing as perambulate. Is pedestrian the same thing as stroll?
No.
So we eliminate it. Anything else to cross out?
D as run is to canter?
Yes, why?
Because run isn't the same thing as canter. A canter is a slow run. I went to horse camp.
These tests are actually designed for people who went to horse camp. It's amazing you haven't scored higher.
You know, you don't have to be so rude about the social class stuff. You have a lot more earning potential than I do, so the tables will be turned in no time.
Will they?
Yes, and then you'll still hate me. There'll be no other option, so let's return to the problem where we do have options. B, mordant to sarcastic, or C, ephemeral to permanent. Wait. Perambulate and permanent both start with the same sound.
But the words aren't actually related.
Clark, kumquat, pineapple wedge, sweet. The words are unrelated. So what? They look the same. So I am expected to think they are related and die like a lemming to my death. But no, I just learned that anything that looks right is wrong. So I go back to B. I still don't know what mordant is, but I know how to screw with the test. I pick B. I win. I even learn a new way to say sarcastic.
She grabs another problem set.
What are you doing?
Cross them off. Kill them off. DOA.
She rapidly does another page as Clark watches.
C. Down. I can do that. Give me another exercise.
Okay.
He takes out a pile of vocabulary cards.
The blue cards have words. Yellow cards definitions. Watch.
He swirls the cards in the air with the technique of a professional magician as she watches, amazed. The cards land face up. He hands her a stopwatch.
Timing. I'm going to match words and definitions. Go.
Clark sorts the cards at a dazzling speed.
I don't know a lot of these words. I hope you don't expect me to.
Clark finishes.
13 seconds.
Now study the cards. I want you to match my time.
But
Don't worry about getting them right. Just follow your impulses.
Jamie quickly glances at the cards.
when you were throwing the cards in the air just now, you remind me of a magician at my 10th birthday party. You wore a black cape and a top hat and a mask, and you turned balloons into letters and numbers. He made cards glide through the air and climb walls.
She looks over the cards some more.
But there is one trick he did that outclassed them all.
A card trick?
A human trick. He disappeared, ran down the hallway, and never came back. A few minutes later, we all opened the doors looking for him. There was just my father, taking a nap.
Taking a nap, huh?
None of my friends figured it out. They thought he scaled the building, 17 flights. Their mothers would call and ask for the name of the magician, and my mother would just say he retired. The girls at the party still talk about it to this day. The magician who disappeared. I think it set a standard for men in their lives to come.
Did you ever ask him?
No, I knew. No one wanted to scale this building.
Nice story, but I think you're just buying time to study the words.
Are you going to disappear?
You ready to start sorting?
Clark hurls the cards in the air.
Go.
Jamie sorts the cards rapid fire as Clark times her.
Keep going.
Done!
My God, they're all right. Except for these here.
He rearranges the 4 pairs.
Study them. Now sort just the ones you got wrong. Go.
He throws the cards and she sorts them manically.
4 seconds. You got them all.
Jamie picks up the cards and starts playing with them, doing small versions of his elaborate card juggling.
Where did you learn to handle cards like that?
Where did you learn?
By playing. And I had books about card games, card tricks.
Your father didn't mention that.
Why would he?
I like to know what games my students play. Tells me how their minds work. I asked your father what games he liked. He said he didn't know.
Really? But I love card games. I know 40 different kinds of solitaire.
She hurls the cards in the air. They land. With the stopwatch, she times herself as she resorts the cards. Clark stares at the cards.
You're at 100%.
I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Jamie, what he said earlier isn't true.
Which part?
The part about me hating you. I don't hate you.
Oh yeah? Prove it.
You know I can't.
March 1995, the day before the SAT. It is 6 p.m., the beginning of Jamie's final tutoring session. She lets Clark in.
I called you last night.
Sorry, I got in too late to call you back.
It's never too late to call me back. When did you get in?
2 a.m., which is definitely too late to call you back 2 nights before your SAT date. You should have been getting on a good sleep schedule in time for the test tomorrow.
Did you see the article in the Times today about the SAT people? I always knew they were buttheads.
You mean the one about the Justice Department investigating whether there are enough test dates for disabled students? Wait, I thought you didn't read the Times.
I read it when no one's looking, but only if there's a good headline. I think the headline was, SAT people screwed and in serious trouble. So, you were out till 2 a.m. Where were you?
I had a date.
You had a date?
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
I just meant I didn't think you were quite ready to date. I thought Margaret had turned you off of women for a while.
What did you have to tell me?
How was your date?
Good. It was just a first date.
What did you do?
We went to a lecture at the Museum of Natural History. Then to dinner.
A lecture? About what?
Rational choice theory. It was her idea.
This girl is totally wrong for you. Everyone knows you don't go on a first date to a lecture. Second date, maybe. First date, you go to a movie. You go bowling. Not a lecture. And if you're in the Museum of Natural History, my God, there's a whole new set of dinosaurs just crying out for a first date. Where did you take her to dinner?
She took me to the Couscous Cafe.
She took you.
To pay me back, I did her a favor, helped her get access to a private library.
Private research library? What does she do?
She's an economist.
What a nightmare.
Why?
Because you already live in your head. You need someone who gets you out of your head. A dancercizer, a violinist, a ski bunny. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against economists. They can be totally sexy. But for you, it's like putting strawberry sauce on strawberries. If you went out with an economist, all you would talk about is theory.
That's not true.
What did you talk about?
Rational choice theory. Combination theory. Game theory. Vidala happens to be a very nice woman.
And her name is Vidala? She sounds like an appetizer.
You're the one who kissed Arthur, who sounds like a raincoat.
And Couscous Cafe is a very unimaginative choice. It has nothing to recommend. It's next to the museum. Otherwise, an obvious disaster.
It wasn't a disaster.
And the girl should never pay on the first date.
Surprisingly, I agree with you, but she insisted, and I'm having financial difficulties. I'm broke.
I'm broke too, so what? You put it on a credit card and deal later.
You've got to be the most infuriating, spoiled, self-absorbed ingrate I have ever met. And I've met many infuriating, spoiled, self-absorbed ingrates, so that is saying a lot.
How can you say that to me? Anyone can get a charge card. Homeless people have them. I have a friend on scholarship, on real scholarship, like welfare family, and her nephew was 4 and he got an offer for a credit card. They'll offer credit cards to anybody.
They'll also take them away.
So you get an emergency one. I may be spoiled, but I'm not an ingrate. I've never been ungrateful. Every day of my life, I thank God I am so lucky to be born into comfort.
You believe in God?
Of course not. But I thank him. I have to thank someone. Even when I'm miserable, I know how lucky I am.
Well, in my day, no one sent real scholarship kids any emergency credit cards. But I played it, so now even I have less of a chance of one.
You were a real scholarship kid?
That's irrelevant.
Your credit cards were taken away? Why?
Not important. So why did you call me last night?
Oh my God. Was Vindalia there when I left a message?
Vindala, no!
Were you at her place? Because you shouldn't go to a girl's place on the first.
I'm sorry I missed your call, but that doesn't give you the right to criticize my date.
I just want to help you.
How can you possibly help me?
I understand relationships. Everyone at Billington comes for me for love advice. The way I need to study for the SAT, you need to study women.
I do.
Yes. This chick is not sensual enough. and lecture shows it. Couscous cafe, rational choice theory. I can't think of a worse combination.